Hey guys, welcome back and happy Saturday. All right, guys. Well, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is the gift that keeps on giving, and they still have not premiered the new episode until May 11th. But we're here to talk about it because they're still making headlines. Teddi Mellencamp is saying that Garcelle refused to do her podcast, which is kind of funny to me, and shares the reason why, but also addresses backlash over a Real Housewives of Beverly Hills podcast episode. So we're here to mention it all, like Bethany Frankel says. And before we do, if you guys haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button. If you haven't, well, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. And with that, let's jump right in.
It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
All right, guys, so it looks like, and according to Reality Blurb, Teddi Mellencamp revealed on the latest episode of her podcast that Garcelle Beauvais was refusing to appear on her podcast, on her show, unless it was with just her co-host, and this is former Real Housewives of Orange County alum, Tamra Judge, unless she was doing it with her solo, which I kind of find hilarious. Is that weird? Sorry. Garcelle's like, I know what I want, and it's not to work with you. Sorry, girl. Moving on. Before sharing what she believes to be the reason behind Garcelle's decision and explaining why Crystal Kung Minkoff wasn't included in the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills themed episode that aired last week, can we be honest? It included the Fox Force 5. Kyle Richards, Lisa Rinna, Erica Jane, and the only person that wasn't there was Dorit Kemsley. Teddi said that while she doesn't dislike Garcelle, she did have an issue with the comment that she made about Kathy Hilton on Watch What Happens Live. It has nothing to do with you. But then again, this is Housewives, so everybody gets an opinion. I don't dislike Garcelle. Teddi insisted on 2 teas in a pod. According to Teddi, she and Garcelle had a friendly encounter at Kyle's store opening in Palm Desert. When you guys were filming and I was working for Extra, wasn't Garcelle friendly to me at that event for Kyle's opening? She asked Crystal, noting that something shifted in the months since. She refused to come on the podcast if I was on it. She would only do it with Tamra. Sorry. So I don't know what transpired. She's like, I don't even know why you're here, Teddi. Garcelle's like, I don't have time for you. I'm moving on. Okay. While Teddi isn't sure about what Teddi isn't sure about what changed. She suspected that her reaction to Garcelle's comment claiming she was closer to Kathy than Kyle was to her own sister was to blame. I said I thought it was a little bit reckless for her to say that because that's her sister. Blood, I think, runs thicker than relationships on these shows ultimately. And Teddi recalled that, adding she didn't like the way that Garcelle said it. Although Garcelle did apologize to Kyle. And I understand a lot of people didn't love that comment from Garcelle, but the one thing that I have to say about this was Garcelle immediately took that comment back. And she immediately said, I had to call Kyle. I called Kyle. I said, you know what? I shouldn't have said that. And she owned it. She took it back and she apologized for it. Also, I just had Matt Rogers on from, he was on Watch What Happens Live. He is on a show called I Love That For You on Showtime, and also has a new movie coming out on Hulu called Fire Island. And when I talked to him, he said that they pump a lot of alcohol in you on Watch What Happens Live. So if that's the case, well, this happened. I mean, Garcelle maybe said something that she didn't mean to say, and she apologized for it, and she took it back. What does that have to do with Teddi Mellencamp? Just saying. In addition to doubling down on her own comments about the ladies, Teddi suggested that Garcelle was a bit two-faced. Here we go again. Trying to get back on the show, Teddi? To my face, she's always nice. And then she explained to Tamra, She would love for Garcelle to come on the podcast. After welcoming her former castmates to the podcast last week, Teddi said that she was slammed for attempting to stage a Real Housewives of Beverly Hills return. There's been some people that actually loved it, and then some people are like, this is just Teddi trying to be on the show. I'm actually so happy to be able to talk about all of these, shows and stay out of the drama and make money doing it and watch it as a viewer. I'm going to try to make money as much as I possibly can. We are here to entertain you. After you move on from Housewives, you have to go die. You can't do anything else in life because people will go, you're thirsty. Tamara replied with a laugh, which, to be fair, sometimes that's actually true. People have a really hard time accepting people or former housewives trying to make a comeback. That I agree with. As for why Crystal wasn't included on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills episode, Teddi said that there were a couple of reasons. The first being that there were way too many people already. I've texted Sutton as well. We've reached out to Garcelle. We know how that worked out, and I want to talk to everybody so we can go in with a fresh opinion. But they were all your friends who joined, so I don't get that. Also, during the episode, guest Crystal said that she received DMs from people asking her, why weren't you there? And I'm like, people are allowed to have other friendships. It's just the most bizarre concept, Crystal admitted. It's like I start the show and then I'm on it, and all of a sudden that's my crew and that's my friend group. And if you're not together, something's happening. Most of my friends won't even watch the show. Crystal Kung Minkoff, we love you so much. We think that you're the best. And also, I mean, this might be not the most popular opinion. Crystal had an interesting season last season, but it was her first season. Let's give her a break. We gave Sutton a second season and she gave us everything. She questioned Erica. She didn't believe anything that was going on with the Girardi scandal. She asked the questions that we wanted to know as fans, and that kept the storyline moving. So for Crystal, even Noella Bergner, who I didn't necessarily love on OC because I felt like her storylines were a little bit concocted and contrived, I think that Noella deserves a second chance. And going through the first, season of filming, you don't know what to expect. You kind of get your footing. It's like you have training wheels. And the second season, I feel like the producers, they get to say to you, hey, this is what worked. This is what didn't. Get it together. And if that doesn't work for you, then that's okay. You're probably not going to cut it out for a third season, but we're willing to give you a second chance. And I think the second chance is important, but I don't want to just give you guys my opinions. I definitely want to know what you guys think about all of this, especially with Teddi talking about the fact that Garcelle did not want to come on her podcast, 2 T's in a Pod, unless it was just with Tamra Judge. It's called 2 T's in a Pod, not 1 T in a pod. I love you, Garcelle, but taking this stance, I just think it's hilarious. But also, not everybody's going to want to come on your show. I mean, I have people who don't want to come on my show. Well, one person that comes to mind specifically. I'm not going to name names. Guys, I love you so much. I'm so curious what you think about Garcelle refusing to appear on the podcast and her being Teddi addressing the recent backlash over the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills episode of that podcast, where people are claiming that she only did the podcast in order to get herself back on the show. Do you agree or think that she's being honest when she says, no, I so much more enjoy talking about these women and making money off of it rather than actually being in the drama and the thick of it? I don't know if I believe that, but I've also never been on a reality TV show. I just find it a little hard to believe, but maybe it's true. Maybe it is. Watch. Tamra Judge is going to be offered a contract to come back to OC, and 2 T's in a pod will only be 1 T with no pod. Just saying. Don't forget to smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. And with that, we'll see you next time. Bye, guys. Love you.